Hey Ronta. What's up?
I'm puzzled about something.
Is it something I can help you with?
Perhaps. In my anthropology class, our professor said there are no biological races in humans.
I had that class too. What's the problem?
She said there's no races, but we still have to answer questions about our race on things like census forms. People talk about race on the news and in my classes.
Yes, true. We hear about racial violence and racial discrimination.
So I don't get it. Why all this talk of race if races don't exist in humans?
Biological races don't exist in humans. But there are social races based on phenotype and geography. Racial classification began as far back as Egypt in 3000 BC. But we'll start with scientific racism in the 1500s. As Europeans began to discover civilizations and cultures in the Americas, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, they associated the skin color of these people with behavior. Europeans measured these civilizations in comparison to their own, and designated them as savage. They began to assume that the level of these civilizations had something to do with their skin color or race. Europeans assumed these people were no better than animals. That attitude made colonizing their land and enslaving them easy. They felt that these people needed Europeans to help civilize them. In 1735, Carolus Linnaeus constructed a taxonomy that divided Homo sapiens into 4 races. Linnaeus's divisions were by skin color and geography: white Europeans, red North American Indians, yellow Asians, and black Africans. Johann Blumenbach came up with a 5-part system based on physical features including skin color, hair color, and facial features.
What was the point of it all? Didn't people know that there aren't biological races in Homo sapiens?
No, they didn't know. No one really understood it until the late 20th century, when anthropologists began to take a different approach that discredited the race concept. First of all, human genetic traits vary in clines. Clines are gradual shifts in gene frequencies. This fact is incompatible with discrete and separate races. A race is supposed to reflect shared genetic material, inherited from a common ancestor. But early scholars used phenotype traits like skin color. The problem is that these traits are inherited independently. Eye color and skin color are inherited separately, so that a person can have dark skin and blue eyes. Another problem is that so-called races are not biologically distinct. Many populations don't fit neatly into the categories like Caucasoid or Negroid. For example, Australian Aboriginals, Melanesians and some Africans look phenotypically very similar, but it doesn't make sense to categorize them all as Negroid.
If we are all very similar to each other genetically, and there has been gene flow among even seemingly ill-oated populations, why does race still exist?
Social race, that is, race that is a cultural construction, does exist. Social race is a form of social organization. People use social race as an excuse to do some pretty horrible things to other people.
Yes, like Hitler in Nazi Germany, trying to exterminate the races he thought were inferior. Thousands of Jews and Gypsies, and people from other ethnic groups, were killed.
Racism in the United States can be traced directly back to slavery. Although the Emancipation Proclamation freed all the slaves, white people wanted to keep blacks in a lower social position so they could continue to feel superior. Jim Crow laws and separate but equal policies were part of that legacy.
All of that, based on a false premise.
Yeah, people can be pretty awful sometimes. Did you know, early scholars thought that people from other races had lower IQs than whites?
Seriously? You've got to be kidding. IQ tests are problematic because it's hard to define just what intelligence is, let alone measure it. Most IQ tests simply measure cultural knowledge.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, the physicist, hasn't made his IQ public, but no one who's heard him speak or read some of his work would doubt he's a genius.
It's all about environment and opportunity. Any kid who gets good nutrition, a great education, and other opportunities, has the potential to be successful and intelligent.
Sounds to me like you've answered your own question.
Yes, I guess I did. Why don't we go get a coffee? I could sure use a donut right about now.
Sounds good. And I think it's my turn to buy.